Okay, so first off, hi, but mostly hi, Darlene.
Thank you.
Darlene. Oh, her little ears perked up. Darlene is, well, I'm going to let you talk all about Darlene, but Darlene is our very special visitor for this very special episode of this very special podcast with dear...
Darlene's dad.
What? Okay. Whoops. Anything else you want to add about?
No, there's nothing else to add.
So,
And that's not like a SAG thing either. That's just, who cares?
yeah.
This is the only thing I really ever want to be known as is Darlene's dad.
You are Darlene's dad.
Hold on. All right. Before I get into Darlene, I want you to tell me about your dog, who I feel like you said you talked about on the first episode of this.
Yeah.
And now the second episode?
Yeah.
All right, let's go. You don't have to do
Max,
the whole
are you
thing.
interviewing me now?
No, but
This
I
is
think
about
it's
you
gonna,
and Darlene and
but
Roxy.
From what I know, I think it's going to move into Darlene and Roxy. So I'd like for you to tell me a little bit about your backstory so we can connect.
We're connecting. Darlene is the connector. Animals are the connectors, but I will tell you about Peanut. I also had an English bulldog who had a very similar relationship with, but Peanut was I talked about Peanut on the podcast last week because she passed away a while ago, and with her passing, I also, like, a part of me kind of went as well, and I've had a very hard time.
How many years ago is this now?
It's gonna be too soon.
2 years?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I won't make you go too much more into it. I don't want to make you cry.
No. But like it's interesting because I'm doing this pet version of the show because I believe they're just so healing the pet. I don't know. So I've wanted to bust open this door of doing pet themed episodes of Me Time. And it's interesting because I don't currently have a pet. I am just now opening the door to seeing what pet finds me.
Got it.
So I'm ready.
Got it.
And I'm ready to talk about it, but it has destroyed me. Why are you laughing? Why is that funny to you?
All right. So we had a dog. Mm-hmm. You want the whole backstory?
I want everything.
All right.
You're here.
So this is many years ago. I think.
How many? Give me.
I think our daughter. So I can tell you, our daughter is now 14 or almost 14.
Wow.
And she was about. I think she must have been around five at the time. I can say she was like, yeah, she was about 5. And we were just were at like the park one day, and they had one of those dog adoptions. And Tess, my wife, who you know very well.
We love you, Tess. Yeah.
Tess and Lily like found this white poofy dog, and they went, "We want him." And for whatever reason, I was like, "Hey guys, we don't know this dog. We don't know anything about it. Like maybe we should." And they go, "No, it's so cute. It's so cute. It's so cute." Mm-hmm. And it had this funky little leg that was like turned out.
Wow. Yeah.
And so I was like, I guess we're taking this dog home.
Oh, you're taking the dog home.
And so we named the dog Murphy, and we brought Murphy home, and Murphy was a full nightmare.
Oh, tell me about Murphy.
I blocked a lot of Murphy out. Murphy was like also not that nice. And I was like, I'm walking this dog. I don't know what I was like, I don't know what to do with this dog. I don't know what to do. And so during that time, Tess had gotten pregnant with our second child, and we could see that Murphy was starting to get anxious, and we were like, it can't be because of the pregnancy. Like, that feels weird. Oh. And it started getting more and more anxiety, and it was really like losing it. And I was like, this is a full nightmare.
Oh, no.
And Lily, who's it's 5 at this point, still like is not able to register what's happening with the dog. And I'm
Right.
going, oh my God.
Oh my God.
This is
Oh my
great.
God.
This is crazy. And so Tess gives birth to Ozzy, our son. And as soon as the Ozzy comes back home and we now have an infant in the house, the dog is, I mean,
Next level.
apoplectic at this point.
Oh.
And it's like going to the bathroom everywhere. He's attacking the kid, he's attacking Tess. And we're like, this is now untenable.
Right.
We need to find another home
Right.
for this dog because it can no longer live here.
Right.
I like my child,
Right.
my infant child, more than I like this dog. I can't handle this. This is dangerous. So we used to take Murphy to this daycare called Posh Pet.
Oh yeah.
Great people over there. If this is a plug for Posh Pet.
Posh Pet.
But they were super nice and they knew Murphy well. And I'm not sure if it was the owner or somebody over there was like, I think I know someone who might want Murphy. And I go, oh my God, please. And so, sure enough, the family that he found was all in on Murphy. They took him and I was like, oh my God, thank you so much. And then at some point months later, he had texted me and he was like, I just want you to know, the family that took Murphy, they're a very well-off gay couple in Palm Springs, and Murphy's doing really well. And sent me a picture of Murphy in the back of a convertible, like wind blowing through its hair. And I was like this, all right.
Oh, that's great. Murphy traded up.
So big time. And so I think like Murphy was like, this is not the family for me, and tried to let us know.
Yeah, he was, and I think they do that. And I'm kind of glad you're talking about it, because I think sometimes it can be like, it's hard for us. It's hard to have to make that decision.
I hated it. It was terrible. But it was bringing me mountains of anxiety. And mind you, I then was like, we got to tell Lily that Murphy's gone. And I thought, she's 5. We've had the dog for maybe a year.
Yeah.
Like she's not gonna have that big a reaction to this. Mm. So we sat her down, and I remember telling Tess, I was like, I got it. And so I walked in and I was like, Lily, you know Murphy's like been having a tough time with the baby and everything. And she's like, yeah. And I was like, well, we found a new home for Murphy. She exploded in tears. Oh, no. And we were like, Tess and I looked at each other like, oh no, which just added to the idea of I'm never getting a dog again. That's it.
Right.
This whole thing is too hard.
Yeah.
What if it doesn't work? I'm not like, I'm not an alpha. Like these dogs don't know. These dogs don't know what they're looking for, some sort of leader. And like, it's just, I was like, I'm never doing this again. We're never doing this again.
Oh, Max, that's hard. Hard.
So then COVID hits.
Oh no. Okay.
And then, mind you, this is many years later. So COVID hits. We're all on lockdown. Ozzy's 8 now. Yeah, so Ozzy was our son is at this point the same age as Lily is when we got Murphy. And there's something about your kids when they hit like 5 or 6 and they start to be really kind of independent from all the stuff that you do for them as a parent when they're really young, which is everything.
Right.
You're now looking for a place to put that energy as an adult. And so Lily was like, can we get a dog? Can we get a dog? Can we get a dog? And you're like sitting in lockdown looking at Instagram, like all of a sudden you start to follow some of these like dog rescues and you're like, oh my God, that one's so cute. Oh my God, what about this one? What about that? And I'm going, no. And then Tessa starts chiming in and she's excited about maybe the idea of getting a dog. And then Ozzy's like, we got to get a dog. And I was like, oh my God. So I reached out to, because I was like, if we get a dog again, we're not just like picking out a dog that you guys think is cute.
Right. Right. It's a process. It'll be a process. It will
I am going to be
different.
So I called a rescue in Los Angeles called Wags and Walks.
We're going to get to that, but yes. Mm-hmm.
And I spoke with I just cold called them, and
They're great.
And so, and that's to say, like, they weren't like, oh my God, it's Schmidt from New Girl. They had no clue. There was like no favoritism.
Nor did they care.
No bullshit.
They were like, yeah.
And so this woman, Erica, who's now my dear friend, picked up the phone, and she runs their foster program. And during COVID, the foster program was, booming.
Yeah.
And that was like really their whole business at that point. And so I talked to Erica, who runs the foster program, and Erica knows all the dogs.
Yeah.
And I said, listen, here's the deal. We want to get a dog. I don't know that we have it in us to train a dog. Mm-hmm. I will try my best, but again, this is a lazy household. It's questionable who the alpha is. But I will do whatever I need to do if you can guarantee me that you're going to give me a dog to the best of your ability that you think is not going to be aggressive towards children. Because I was like, we have 2 kids in the house. They have kids running in and out, like their friends.
Yeah.
It's just the door is going.
It's chaos. You need peace.
The door is like, I was just like, I can't be worried. Is the dog going to like bite a kid?
Right. Or worse, of course.
Yeah. And so, and like when I'm not there, and it's just anyway. So without missing a beat, Erica goes, you need Joey. And so I go, great, send me a picture of Joey. They send me this picture of like this like giant headed mugshot of this brown and white, like miserable looking,
I love
big. Mm-hmm. He got messed up ear. His ear was all messed up. Like it wasn't scary. It was just like, it was a rough photo.
He's had a life. Yeah.
This was a rough dog.
Yeah.
And I went, okay. And then I showed the picture to Lily, and Lily was like, no. Because, Lily wanted like some little dog that she could walk around with.
Right. I love that Lily's like, no, Dad.
And Tess, to her credit, who, has always wanted a small dog, looked at the picture and was like, I don't know, I think I like this dog. And so for a week, Lily wanted to look at more dogs and blah, blah, blah. And finally I was like, I think we should meet Joey. And so we called Erica back and we said, hey, is Joey still available? She goes, yeah. I go, can we come down and meet him? And Erica goes, great, come down. So we went down to Wax and Walks, and I was like freaking out in the car.
Why?
Because I'm nervous.
Oh, right.
And I was like, guys, because I know I'm in the car with Tess and 2 kids, all of whom are going to go, we want this dog.
Of course.
And so I said, listen, we're going to go down and we're going to meet the dog. We're going to spend some time with the dog. You don't know the dog in 15 minutes. So
smart. Good.
If we like the dog, we'll set up yet another time to go and spend some time with the dog. And after having spent several sessions with the dog, if we feel like the dog is the right dog, maybe that dog will come home with us. And they were like, you need to chill out. And so I'm like reiterating
You're
this
trying so hard to be
so many times on the way down there, because I don't want to be in a position where I'm like trying to find a home for a dog that's not working for us, and then having to break the news to children that the dog is going away. I'm not doing this again.
Right.
So we go down there, we meet Joey. Within 5 minutes, Tess and Lily look at me and they were like, we're taking this dog. And I said, I think we got to. Yeah.
It all went out the window.
I go,
wait, what about Ozzy?
He was
all in.
Yeah, but you could throw any dog in front of Ozzy. That's a dog. But there was something about this dog that I was like, it was this big pit bull mix, and it was the softest, sweetest dog. You knew in 5 minutes that
Like,
you were like, this is the
good.
least aggressive dog I've ever met in my entire life.
Yeah.
And I'm going to. That's Darlene snoring. You all right, Mama?
Oh, Darlene. Oh, she's Max.
She's the best. Hi, sweet girl.
Hi, Darlene.
So anyway, so I was like, this is a special. I've never met a dog like this before.
Joey.
Yeah.
Oh.
So we brought Joey home, and day one, this is my best friend. From day one, like I could not. I just was like, I can't. I'm so grateful for this this guy.
Yeah.
He's my best friend.
Everybody loves him.
I love him.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he's perfect.
Yeah.
And like he snuggles with me. and we got him home and they were like, yeah, he's house trained. He's fine. He was with a foster and they're like, yeah. He just knows exactly, like goes outside, goes to the back. I go,
He knew what was up.
this guy's a genius. And
Joey
there's
the
something
genius.
there's something that happens with rescue dogs that's the most rewarding experience that you can have, which is, and it happened with Joey, it happened with Darlene, especially with these like big expressive, the Pitbulls have these faces where like, I'm convinced that they're people.
Yeah. I mean, it's you're communicating with them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll get to this later. We have a tiny little dog in the house now too.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's a dog. Love it. Roxy's a dog.
We will talk about that.
Darlene is a person.
Sure.
Joey was a person. And so anyway, so I'm with Joe. And there's something that happened with these dogs where you love them, you love them, you love them, you love them, you love them. And you just tell them over and over and over again how beautiful they are, what a good boy they are, what a good girl they are, like this whole thing.
Yeah.
And you do it over and over and over again. And then eventually you tell them, again, you're going to live with us because we'd fostered Joey for the first 7 days. And they were like, can we just call and just tell them that we're keeping Joey?
Yeah.
It was like they gave us a crate. They were like, the dog's going to sleep in a crate. And I was like, no, he is not. And he got into bed with us. And I was like, you're staying here forever.
Yeah.
So, a couple days in, you like tell the dog, this is your home forever.
Yeah.
You just tell them that over and over. This is your home. I still tell them, like, you live here forever.
Yeah.
And there's something that happens where you can see the expression of their face change, where this hardened confusion of like, I don't really know like where I'm supposed to be, or like, is this temporary, or, what do I do? It sort of drops.
Yeah. And they know.
And they become, you can see like they become puppies again, kind of. And they're so grateful.
Yeah.
They're so grateful. Yeah. And it makes, it's such a pure form of giving. Yeah. That you then feel like, oh my God, this is the best. So like when I come, it's why you come home every day. It's like the first thing I go, I'm like, get the kids out of the way. I want to say hi to Darlene. Because, the kids talk back. And the kids have shit that they want. And I'm like, give me a second here. Yeah. And so.
It's so crazy, Max.
And so with Joey, it takes about 3 months. It took like Joey about 2-3 months before that expression changed. And it took about 4 or 5 months because you get the dog and the kids are excited and they're like, oh, let's throw a toy for the dog and like let's play with him. He didn't know how to do that.
Yeah, no. Yeah, right.
He doesn't feel comfortable to do that. Yeah. And then like 5-6 months in, all of a sudden like you throw a toy for them, or you try to play like fetch with them, or you try to like do something with like oh, go get like, oh, wait a minute. And all of a sudden they start doing it and you're like, they're playing with the toys. And it's so exciting. And it's just an indication to you that like that dog feels comfortable here, that you're doing a good job, that that they feel that you love them. They feel safe. They feel like they can be, and it was just the best experience.
Max, I literally told this Peanut story when I told her, I was at foster fail with Peanut. It's a story I told last week, and I won't go into every detail, but the moment I said, Peanut, you're staying?
Yeah.
Like, she would play these tricks on me, like when I was fostering her, of like, she'd go to my closet and take my shoes that I had like one on, and she'd take the other, and then she'd take it somewhere and roll on her back and stare at me, and she'd kick her feet, like laughing at me, like, haha, I got your shoe, you can't leave. And she would do these like tricks. I just thought it was the funniest thing. But the second I said, Peanut, you're staying, and her expression changed. And I talked about it. She basically did backflips. Like, I remember exactly where I was sitting, and she just like, she got it. It was like she heard the phone call, and she never did one of those like tricks again. I kind of thought it would be fun if she did, but it was like her way of being like, I'm not leaving. Please don't leave me. And everything changed. And then we were inseparable for 7 years. But that moment is and especially when you see them thaw. I've had another dog. It took a lot longer. Peanut was immediate, but it sounds like Joey was like, okay, cool. I know I'm safe, but like, how safe? And then like 3 months, he's like, I'll play ball.
Yeah, because Joey was older. We still don't know how old Joey was. He could have been 5. He could have been 75. We have no idea. He had this like rough cauliflower ear. He had a bunch of scars on his face. He was kind of fucked up. And so, sometimes. Joey gave us the best 2.5, 3 years, probably about three plus years.
What happened?
And he, at some we had him for we had him for all of COVID. And then after COVID, we came home one day, and he was sort of like slumped on the ground, and we went, oh no, what's that? And I put some pressure on his stomach, and he was clearly like not okay. So we took him to the pet hospital.
MASH or whatever.
Yeah, went to MASH.
Yeah.
And then and his spleen had erupted. And mind you, like when we had him, we probably had about a year and a half where he was perfect.
Yeah.
And something happened where we noticed like we're slowing down a little bit. But we didn't really think about it. Mm-hmm. And then the spleen thing happened, and then we removed the spleen, and there was some complications with the spleen thing. And I was like, to every conversation with a doctor, I was like exploding in tears.
Yeah.
I can't watch it. Look at him in a cone anymore. Like, it was embarrassing. It's embarrassing. And so the spleen thing happened. And then shortly after that, so the spleen thing happened. And then when they opened him up, they had found a bunch of cancer in there. And so they gave him at that point, I think, like 3 to 6 months.
Oh, God.
And it was just, it was brutal. The crying was on such another level. And I'm like having these, and I wanted to, he was so close with the kids that I wanted to, tell them. And when, you ultimately think it's like, it's a good introduction to that part of life for them.
Sure. Oh my.
And so we're having that conversation. It's awful. And you're watching him. You don't want to believe it, but we're watching him like slowly deteriorate. He started getting these tumors. None of them were great. And I was like, I would like tend to them daily, as if I knew what I was doing. I would like, because they had said like, look, this is gonna get bad, and the idea that he would make it through a surgery for one of these, like to remove some of them, because they were like opening up at some point.
Oh, Max.
they were like, there's a good chance that he does not make it through the surgery. So if you want it, so I would be like, putting sutures on. It was awful. No. It was so awful.
No, it is awful, but it's also love, and we don't question it when we're in that situation.
No,
like you do it again over and over and over.
And so there were a couple like rough moments where he would have like a really bad day, and we thought maybe it's time. And then there was a couple times where we called, and they were like, well, we can come on Tuesday, and we go, okay, well, why don't you confirm with us on Monday, and we can come on Tuesday. And then Monday would come along, and they'd be like this, I'm not calling. And that happened a couple times. Or like there was one time where it was real bad. And we called, and they said, we'll be there tomorrow. I go, okay. They were like, we'll be there at 10 a.m. I go, okay. And I said to Tess, I was like, I think we'll keep the kids home from school. And because I want them to be a part of this. I want them to say goodbye to Joey. Like, I think it's... And so that morning, he like was kind of bouncing around.
Oh, right.
And he was like...
I'm still here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so like Tess called this mobile vet. And we were just looking for someone to say like, no, it's time, because we couldn't do it.
Yeah, of course.
And the vet was like, I think he's having a thing. Let's give him a shot. And they gave him some like, because he was having trouble. So something must have happened where he had gotten some joint pain. I don't know what it is. She gave him like some sort of shot that like relieved some of that pain. And then all of a sudden he was sort of bouncing around. And so we called the people and said, don't come.
Right.
And so I think about a month later.
Wow.
And at this point, they gave him 3 to 6 months. We were pushing 10. I mean, he almost made it a year.
Okay.
But we finally got to a place where it was like, it feels like it's time. And so the kids were going to camp on that Sunday. And we said, you know what? Maybe we don't do it with the kids. And Tess really didn't want, it to affect their experience. So we thought we'll get the kids off the camp, and then we'll do it. And so got the kids off the camp, and then and this is, by the way, the first time Tess and I have ever been alone for the past 13 years,
right,
without any kids.
Oh,
and
wow.
We're about to ruin the next 2 weeks.
Yeah, of course.
And
you finally have a moment. Yeah.
And so, the day before was really nice. It was like a beautiful day. And Joey was he was super happy. It was like, remember, there was like, I don't know if you remember this, but in LA, it was, the weather was terrible.
When?
It was just like cloudy forever.
Oh my God. It was like
never,
never,
it
the
felt
sun
like the
never
sun
came
was
out.
never
Yeah.
coming out. And the first day the sun came out was the day before we had done it. And I have all these pictures. And he's just like walking. I gave him like 3 walks that day. And I went and bought him like a $75 steak.
Yeah.
And I was just like, eat it all, man.
Absolutely.
And then that next morning we woke up, and I remember being like, we had painkillers from when he had surgery. And I was like, I don't want to be in a position this morning when where he's like looking good and we back out again.
Right.
And so I gave him some of the painkillers, and he went to sleep on the couch. And these 2 women came over, and they put Sweet Joey down. And almost immediately I was like, thank God that the kids were not here.
Right.
Because this is the most traumatizing experience I could ever imagine, and they are not ready for it.
Right.
Tess and I are both taking turns, like, both before, during, and after, just like sort of like leaving the house and screaming in the backyard.
Max, I get it. Yeah.
It was so bad.
Yeah. And
my friend, this is so dark, but my friend Kevin was like, hey, listen, I'm going to give you some advice, because he had to put his dog down. And he was like, I'm going to give you some advice. They're going to ask you if you want to like carry the dog out, and you're going to want to, like, as a man. And he goes, I'm telling you right now, do not do that. And he was so right. Because I
Wow.
saw them carrying him out for half a second, a split second, because I had to open the door. And it was awful. It was awful. And so,
Babe,
hi, sweet mama.
she agrees.
She's like, can you get to me already?
Yeah. Yeah, seriously.
Well,
She's like, I've heard a lot about Joey.
But all that's to say is, the next day, I couldn't function.
Max, I have so many. The
day after that,
so get it. Yeah.
felt exactly the same. Tess tried to go to the gym, came back from the gym, and like walked through the door and goes, there needs to be another dog in this house when the kids come home. And I went.
Oh, I have chills. Yeah.
And I went, are you out of your mind? I go, are you the craziest person?
I love you all so much.
I go, do you
best.
think that I'm just going to replace Joey? I go, you're the craziest person I've ever met in my entire life. And she goes, the kids are going to freak out.
It's okay. Oh, Darlene. Hello, little one. Hi. Yeah, who's here?
Go there. Explore.
Somebody in the, yeah.
She goes, the kids are going to freak out. There needs to be another dog in this house. I go, I'm not doing it. I go, I can't do it. I cannot do it. I can't. I will not do it. And so she goes, okay. But like
but I will.
her okay means like, yes, like if I need to do this, I will. And I was like, I'm not doing this your way again.
Right.
And so I sat with her for a day and I called Erica again. And I said,
Erica.
I'm not quite ready yet. But next week, the kids come home. And I think they were like getting home on Saturday or Sunday. And I was like, maybe before then we meet some dogs if you have any that you think are right. And she goes, absolutely. So a week goes by, and as you know, we get to Wednesday, all of a sudden I'm like getting kind of excited. And so we meet this dog, Edie.
Edie. I love that name.
And Edie was deaf. She had these and I had such a soft spot for her because she had these giant, she had some sort of infection in her ears, and it created, and it was not taken care of, and it created this awful infection, cauliflower ear.
Oh my God.
So bad that they had to cut it all out, and she lost her hearing. I don't think she had it while she had the infection, but at some point she was fine.
Oh man.
And so we meet Edie, and Edie was this super soulful, beautiful dog. And I was like, I'm in love with this. And immediately I was like, this is the dog. Let's take her home. And Tess was like, you need to relax. And then we had a couple moments with her while we were spending time where we were like, oh, you can see she's newly deaf. And again, it was one of those things where I was like, with all the kids, and Ozzy's definitely bigger now, and I was like, this
maybe not the right environment for her.
This could go wrong. And then I honestly within the 30 minutes that we were sitting with Edie, I felt like we were returning her. And I was like, I can't do this. So then we met this girl, Wiley.
I like the name.
Wiley was a full pit. Ooh. And we had met Wiley before, because we had met Wiley when she had given birth to her puppies, and we went down to play with the puppies, and we were like, why do we kind of like Wiley better than the puppies? And she was so great, and she was great with the kids, and she was in their lap and blah, blah, blah. Anyway, so Wiley was now fully recovered from her birth, or from the baby's birth, and she was awesome, but she was like a
tank.
She wasn't so much of a tank as she was she was smaller. She was smaller than Darlene, but she was just she was a full pit.
Oh, okay.
And she and young and ready to
rumble.
Go.
Yeah.
And for me, I was like, this is my dog.
Oh.
At some point, Tess was like, this is not going to go well. Because the dog.
Every dog. It's just like, this is the one.
This one was, I was so in on Wiley because I felt like we had like, you know, dated before. And
yeah,
now
you had a thing.
And so, and we were watching her play outside, and she plays so hard. And Tess was like, she's going to think she's playing. And Ozzy or one of his friends is not going to know it. And it's going to clip Ozzy totally by accident. And it's going to scare him in a way that's not going to be great. And I felt like, and also, it was also the type of dog where you're like, this is not going to go, if this dog doesn't have like 8 walks up to the top of Runyon every day, it's going to get pissed. And I was like, and then at some point I suggested that Wiley and I get our own place. And all like,
you're like, Wiley and I have a thing.
And then all the girls at Wags and Walks were like laughing, blah, blah, blah. And Tess stopped him and goes, he's not joking. Don't. So I was super sad that Wiley didn't work out. And there was like 1 or 2 other dogs that we met, but they were not the right. I didn't have high hopes for them. It just was not the right fit. And and Erica knew they weren't going to be the right fit. And I knew they were going to be. Anyway. I was so bummed that Wiley didn't work out. And so,
is this all the same day, by the way?
This is all the
like
same
the
day.
Kids are about to come home from camp.
This is Wednesday. They come home Saturday.
And they still don't even know about Joey.
No.
Okay, got it.
And so, and so we had taken separate cars down to Wags, and Tess leaves, and I was so sad, and so like out of it. I just couldn't do anything.
No.
And so I walked outside and I couldn't get in my car. And so I just sat on like a little bench that's right outside of Wags. It's like they have a little play area, and then they have the door that comes for their kennel. And in between those two things is this little bench. And I just sat there. And they were like playing with this huge dog, Gizmo, who looked really fun. But he was like, you know, one of those like, it looked like a horse.
Like a Great Dane.
Yeah. It was like a Dane like pit mix, and I was like, that dog looks fun. And so they were like training Gizmo, and there was another dog that was like in the sick kennel that they were trying to like, you know, get outside for a minute. And I'm just hanging out. Hung out for like an hour. And I honestly think I probably would have stayed even longer had all of a sudden this dad and his daughter come walking in with at the time, Darlene. And I looked at that dog, and Darlene looks a lot like, just physically, just size and type, breed, looks a lot like Joey.
Okay.
And so I could tell by like her gait, just the whole vibe. I go, I know that dog. And so I get up off the bench and I walk over to this guy and I go, hey, who's that dog? And he goes, oh man, you know, we just tried to adopt this dog. We've had it for a week, but our youngest son is allergic. I go, so you're bringing her back? And he goes, yeah. And I go, oh. And then he goes,
you're playing it so cool, Max.
Aren't you? He goes, aren't you Schmidt from Newgate? And I was like, this, yeah, whatever. I go, you know what? He goes, oh, can I take a picture for my wife? I go, you take as many pictures as you want. Just give me the dog. And so they literally didn't even get to the front door. And I was like, I'm taking the dog. And at some point he said to his daughter, he goes, this is the sad part. So it's like 3-year-old daughter. And I said, this is what the place I was in. I go, it's not sad at all. It really isn't. The dog's coming with me. They both looked at me like, what? And I took the dog from them and I walked inside, and their original fosters who had her for a while were there. Oh. And Darlene had been at Wags and Walks for well over a year.
Oh,
they were like over
God.
400 days. And I
Max.
And I was like, and so she was not giving me a ton of love. She knew everybody at Wags.
How did you know?
She knew everybody at Wags, and I was watching how she interacted with the people at Wags. and her original foster was a 16-year-old girl and her dad. But she was like, she was so sweet with the 16-year-old girl, and I could see the relationship they had. And she was really excited to see her, and they were like rolling around and stuff. And I was like, this will take 3 months, as we talked about, for her to get to this place with us.
Right.
Happy to put that work in.
Yeah.
Give me the dog. I called. And
How are you so, like, the dog walks up, like.
I called Tess.
Okay.
I called Tess, and I go, I need to tell you something. And she goes, did you find a dog? And I go, I did. And she goes, she was like, at this point, she goes, whatever, just bring it home. I can't deal with you anymore. Mm-hmm. And I go, oh, okay. And I was like, she was like, is it big? Because she can't sleep something. She couldn't sleep with Joey in the bed because Joey was so big, mm-hmm. and would like roll on her. And she's like, there's nowhere for me to put my feet. And she goes, is the dog big? And I go, no. It's
Max.
It's I think it's smaller than Joey. It's not smaller than Joey. Mm-hmm. And so I'm telling, and I remember like bringing her to the car, and she was so confused and like didn't know, and was like kind of wanted to hang out still. Wags.
She just got out of
car. She was so confused.
Yeah.
And she was like, why am I going with this guy? And I was really having to be like, it's okay. It's all right. And I remember that walk to the car was long.
Yeah.
And it was not a far walk. I'm like, man, oh man. Mm. So I got out of the car. We got her in. I brought her home. And, you know, for those first couple of days was just like, she was just like laying. Mm. She just was like, all right, I guess I'm here now. And then we picked up the kids from camp, and it was Lily, her friend Tilly that she went to camp with, and Tilly was like one of her very close friends who knew Joey well. Oh. It was Lily, Tilly, and Ozzy. Anyway, I was like, as long as they don't ask about Joey on the drive, I just want to get to our driveway, and then we can have a conversation. And so thank God they didn't say anything. And then we got into the driveway, and I turned to them and I said, listen, you know how Joey was really sick before you guys went to camp? And they go, yeah. Mm-hmm. And I go, so we had to put Joey down this week. Long pause. And I go, oh shit. Mm-hmm. The two of them, without even like communicating at all with one another, even like making a look, they just in unison went, can we get a new dog?
Wow.
And I went, and then Tess all of a sudden turns around and was like, well, as it turns out, there is a dog inside the house. And they went, yay! And they ran inside the house, and Tess ran with them, and then it was just me and Tilly. And I'm thinking, these fucking kids. I go, what kind of psychos have I raised that they
don't even didn't even spend a minute.
What kind? Where's the grief? The hell's going on? I turn around to Tilly. Tilly's hysterically crying.
Oh no, Tilly! Oh
and I
no,
said,
poor Tilly.
I go, you okay? And she goes, Joey was the best. And I said, yeah, he was. And guess what? You're my daughter. I go, I don't know who these other kids are. I don't like them right now. I don't want them right now. I go, Tilly, you're with me. I go, next time you want anything, call me and I will buy it for you. And so we got in the house. And what was funny was,
that's
they ran in, they gave her a bunch of hugs. She was kind of excited because she was like, oh, cool, more people. Mm-hmm. But also I think, they were a little bit underwhelmed.
Oh, no.
And they were like, oh, well, she doesn't really do anything. And even Tess for a while was like a little bit like, is she okay? And I go,
she was tired.
And I go, I promise you, this is a good dog. And slowly but surely, we just loved that dog.
Yeah.
And she opened up and she opened up and she opened up. And finally she like really realized like, oh, this is my house. And now, I mean, everyone in the house loves her.
I mean,
and she plays and she's like, she's just the best. She's the best. And you know what was also really nice too? So when we brought, before the kids got home, we brought Darlene home. We took her for her first walk. And there's like a loop that goes around our neighborhood where we used to take Joey all the time. And we were like, let's take her on like the little loop. And that was just the extent to which Joey could walk. Mm-hmm. It would towards the end, it would take Joey like, I don't know, an hour to make that loop, and it's less than a mile. And we just thought, well, that's just the pace he's at.
Yeah.
And this was the same dog.
Yeah.
Maybe the same age, we don't know, maybe a little bit. And Darlene did it in 7 minutes. And so, but it was such a great moment because it relieved us of any guilt we had of putting Joey down, because we were like, oh, Joey was really sick.
Yeah.
Because we didn't it's hard to do that math.
We play God in that situation. You don't know.
And
you can't
so we
guess
were like,
that.
he was bad off.
Oh, Max.
And then it went from guilt went to, you know, oh man, we did the right thing.
Yeah.
Like we were proud of ourselves.
Yeah.
And
Darlene like helped you heal whatever sort of grief or regret or any of those like thoughts that we get of like, was it the right thing? Was it the right time?
This is what I'm saying to you. And I don't know how you've waited 2 years to get another dog.
Do you want to know how?
Yeah.
I didn't have a Tess. So I'm like, it's crazy. So Max, yesterday, so I did this like, Wags and Walks was there. I thought about, didn't you just host something for them? You're like involved with them.
I host their gala every year, and
yes.
I do many events for them, and I pay them so much money. I love them.
Yeah. And you're like a real advocate. Like you're the real deal. And anyway, so I opened this door a little, and yesterday was the first time that I kind of like met a dog, and I'm not sure if it's many people.
Wait, at Wags you met a dog?
No, it was at this Best Friends did this like super adoption weekend. Wags and Walks happened to be there.
Oh, yeah,
it was just
I know
like
this
a different
one.
Yeah. And so I met this dog, and it was crazy because it's a whole thing with Peanut because it was very sudden. It was like I didn't have like here. In fact, they told me I had like 16 to 18 months, and then it ended up being 10 days.
Got it.
So it was like this kind of a whiplash, weird. She was young, she was small. Like, you know, I was like, no, these are the ones that live a long time. Like I had all the smashed face, messed up, paralyzed, like you name it. I was like, this was the easy one. This was the one that was gonna we were going the distance. And so I think it was just the era that she was in my life, because I've lost dogs and it's hard, but also like I'm like dog comes in, next dog comes in right away, or maybe dog comes in right before or whatever. And I think there's just been something with this that I felt like there were some lessons I maybe needed to learn from it. And then I realized after meeting this dog yesterday, it was 2 days ago, I spent 2 hours yesterday, Max, almost 2 years later, had a full-on sob fest about like, oh, not that I'm not ready, but it was like, oh, it just means I kind of have to let go in a way. Like I have to now I gotta, and I know she's with me. I feel her, like she's still talking to me. You know what I mean? You can handle it. But
but here's the thing, like what I realized with Darlene and Joe, because I thought it was about Joey. And I was like, Joey was such a special dog and nothing. And I even, when I called Erica and she goes, listen, she has a dog named Opal.
Oh,
That's
beautiful
she loves. And she goes, and I know she was talking about Opal when she said, and whatever, she probably said it. So she says, when I said we want to meet some other dogs. And she goes, listen, Joey was your soul dog. And she sort of then intimated, like, without being so blunt, you're probably not going to find another Joey.
Right.
And
right. That's That's right.
And I was like, okay. But what I think is that it isn't really about Joey.
Right.
It's about, or the specific dog that you had. I mean, you still honor that dog and you love that dog, but it's about what you are capable of giving the dog, what you're able to give the dog.
I'll give everything.
But see,
I'm ready.
That's what makes the dog special, and
Right.
that's what creates that relationship. And therefore, when Darlene comes into the house, I go, "Oh, it was never about Joey. It was it was the relationship that you then create with
That's all.
this dog that's looking for a home."
Yeah.
And that's grateful for it. And so I was like, I was like, well, Erica, I guess I have two souls because
Two soul dogs.
Yeah, because Darlene is really, really special.
But Max, you're right. And I know you're right. And I think I've just now kind of settled into a place. I've been moving around a little bit and I'm like, oh, what am I doing?
Yeah.
Where is my dog?
Yeah.
Where
because
is my dog?
I think to articulate what I was just saying clearer, it's not what the dog gives to you, because I thought Joey like gave so much to me, and
Yeah.
he did.
Yeah.
He did. But really, it's about what you give to the dog,
Right.
and it has nothing to do with what you're receiving.
Right.
And so
It makes our hearts big.
the fact that you've gone 2 years,
Almost. It's been I think the trauma of how she went has taken that's sort of been the road of like replaying things, and like I'm past it, but I'm in acceptance of it, I should say. But it definitely was like a moment of utter chaos, and it was so abrupt and confusing that it was like that part has been the hardest part for me to kind of stop replaying in my head and thinking of all the things I maybe could have done different. I'm way past this now.
Yeah.
And I'm ready for this dog. Like, I think it's why I'm like doing this podcast, or like opening up this door. This is what I've kind of always wanted to talk about anyway. And it's like, Maggie, let's go. Like, let's go.
Can I hook you up with Erica?
Oh, yeah, I think I know Erica. No, so Wags and Walks was there the other day. They were like, there were so many people at their tent. But I'm very like Max.
They're the best.
It's time.
They're the best.
They are the best. They're really wonderful. And I know you do like incredible work for them too, but
The secret to Wags and Walks, for anyone listening,
this feels like an exclusive.
is just go down there, and if there happens to be a dog that's like just chilling out behind the desk, ask about whatever dog that is.
Okay.
Because that's the
Why?
dog that's been like, no one's adopted yet,
Right.
and they love more than anything, and then just like chills out,
Yeah.
and they're like, oh my God, this is the best dog. They're like, and it's okay to just chill out because they're like not worried about it.
Right.
And so we went in there.
Oh, you have another dog.
Yes. So we went in there. I took Lily and Ozzy down there because they were having we thought they were having some sort of event. We saw it online, and it turns out it was their Nashville location and not their LA location. And so I was like, oh my God. And there was like 4 people in there. And I was like, well, can we just like hang out with some dogs? I mean, we're here.
This happened to me the other day, actually. Yes.
And they didn't really have, they didn't really have anybody. And I think there was like one little dog we hung out with for a little while. And Tess was adamant, like, we cannot get another big dog.
Right.
There's no
Right,
room.
right.
There's no
Right.
room. And so I'd look behind the desk, and there was this like bigger boxer back there, and she had 3 legs.
Oh,
and
yeah.
It was Bocce. And so,
Bachi the boxer.
by the way, this is the problem with me. People's names, cannot remember any of them. I have a genuine problem with people's names. Dogs' names, I know all of them.
You're like Wiley, Bachi. Darlene.
Yes. It's
You're
the
like-
dumbest. This is a really problematic brain.
No,
So-
I think it's you registered differently because they're They're so pure.
So we were in there. We met this dog, and I was like looking at Bocce, and I was like, huh, boxer's different, you know, different.
Tess is like,
and I was like, it's a different visual, and I was like, huh, let me see Bocce, and we brought Darlene with us, and so I brought Bocce out. And we were playing with Bocce, and I was like, "This is a good dog." And they were like, "Yeah, she's the best. She just hangs."
Love every single dog you've met so far. You're like, "We have a thing. This is a good dog."
They were like, "Yeah, Bocce just hangs out behind the desk. She's the greatest." And Erica, to her credit, had sent me Bocce's information, and I balked on it because I showed it to Tess, and she was like, "That dog's too big." And so we went outside and we played with Bocce, and Bocce played with Darlene, and it was spectacular.
Like love at first sight.
It was, well, they were two ladies.
So love at first sight. I mean,
yeah, sure.
Yeah.
But they were just like, it wasn't like
romantic.
It wasn't romantic.
Got it.
It was like, you know,
we're girls.
yeah,
You're my
it was
girl.
just like, we could hang. And I think they were like, I don't even think this would like be competitive. And they were like drinking water together, and they were just hanging out, and I had the same thing with Bocce, where I was like, man, if this is where this is starting, where this is gonna go would be unbelievable. but I very realistically knew that there was no way.
Okay.
And I was like, this is also gonna get so expensive.
Why?
Because I mean,
Food?
between the food and also like we take really good care of Darlene.
Yeah. I get it.
Darlene gets very, very fine food, and but she gets walks almost every day of the week. And I was like, this is another big dog, and
boxers.
And I thought,
yeah,
this is gonna get expensive. So we didn't do Bocce, and I actually showed. I said, hey, listen, we met this dog, and I just want to let you know this is a really good dog. And she goes, can we not do this?
Oh my God.
But so at some point, like,
Max.
so Darlene started getting we were looking for another dog for Darlene at that point, because we were like, she needs a friend. And even as much as I love that dog, Lily also, and both Lily and Tess were like, we want a small dog.
Okay.
I go, okay, this is your call. I got my dog. No one chimed in. I got this dog without the approval of anyone.
That's true. That's true.
You guys can go for it. I go,
Right.
the only thing I asked is, do we get it from Wags and Walks, because I trust them. I love them. And I'm loyal, and I will never get a dog from anyplace else. Although I have been to other like rescues and like events where you're like, that's a good dog. What's that? I got a real problem.
dog.
If it was up to me and I was and no one was stopping me, I'd probably have about 35 dogs in my backyard.
Yeah, I'm hearing.
But so Tess and Lily then called Erica, and Erica goes, I got a couple little dogs for you. And one of them was this little girl, Roxy, who they had just gotten in. And so we went down and met Roxy, and Roxy was just like kind of perfect.
You didn't say a good dog.
No, because with those small ones, it's a little trickier. I have no experience with them really.
Right. These like big, yeah.
And they just, they're like running around, and you go, I don't know what to make of this. Like I would assume this feels like it's going to be a pain in the ass for a while, and then it'll settle in. And that's kind of been our experience with Roxy.
Oh my God.
Like pain in the ass for a little bit, and now she's great. And in the beginning I was like, I don't know what to do with this small dog. And my friend Kevin again was like, because he had a big and a small too.
Yeah.
He goes, you're not going to get it at first. He goes, and then one day you're going to be like watching TV, and you're going to be tired, and the small dog is going to run up and jump up on the couch with you, and like just kind of sit down next to you. And I go, well, that's what Darlene already does. He goes, it's going to be different. And so it did that one day, and Darlene was already on the couch, and I remember just thinking, 2 is better than 1.
my God. I love it.
And I don't think there was room for 2 Darlenes on the couch.
Right.
But it's been great. And Darlene loves it. Darlene does not, you could tell like she's like, I mean, when I talked to her, I think what she said to me was, and she said the same thing to Tess, which was like, listen, this is so great here. I love it. You guys are the nicest and you're doing such a good job with me. And we were like, oh, thanks. And then she said, and then she said, I'd really like a friend, just like another dog. Like, I'm cool with you guys. I love humans. It's great. Like Joey was like, I'm totally fine.
No one else. Yeah.
I don't think that he was like no one else. There was a couple times we thought about it, but then every time we like get close to it, he got sick again.
Oh.
And then we were like, we don't want to bring a dog in while he's sick.
Yeah.
And so we got Roxy, and you could tell like Darlene is happier.
Oh, that's so sweet. I love
And
that
they
she's
play.
Like, so that was one of my questions for you, but like, I totally talk to my, like,
I'm
animals.
convinced, and I was convinced with this with Joey. It never happened with Joey, but I'm convinced with Darlene too, that one day she's going to be like this. I don't think it's going to be a full conversation, but I do think that I'll like ask her a question one day and she'll just go like this. Yes.
like annoyed, a little annoyed. What do you think her voice sounds like?
I don't think it's like the dog voices that people
like. Woo, 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 woo. No.
Although maybe it is.
Oh.
Because she does make those noises.
We need to give Darlene.
She makes noises when she's excited and someone enters the room. She'll go like this. She'll be like,
it's quite an announcement.
it makes you feel really good.
Yeah. Yeah, it sounds it. Oh, Darlene, I love that she talks to you telepathically.
Well,
and also in real life too.
In real life.
Yeah. So she probably has like a grumbly. I used to think of my English bulldog was like a total valley girl. Like she looked like smashed faced and like, but then she would just talk and it would be like this, like, oh my God, like she would be such an influencer and like that would be totally have been like her. I want to ask you what you think your dog's like. We'll get to those questions in a moment. Okay. Roxy and Darlene are buds.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
And but there's like a different. Go ahead.
Roxy there's a little bit of Roxy that's like Roxy's still. I mean, Roxy's pretty new. Roxy's still kind of settling in, and you can tell she's super cool with Darlene, and they're in a good zone.
Yeah,
and they have fun together, and they're on it. Roxy moves a lot faster than Darlene. Mm-hmm. And also Roxy's like, but every once in a while, like they'll be playing, and Darlene does this thing where she like, it's like a dinosaur trying to like, paw, like trying to paw.
like stop.
It's like
down.
Godzilla, like pawing like a small house or like a person.
Darlene.
And Roxy will be like this. You don't know how much that hurts. Like you're so big. You don't know how big you are.
That's so sweet, though.
And then if I give Roxy like a little bit too much attention, Darlene will come over and get in my lap and think that she's a small dog. Mm-hmm. And I love it because I'm like this. I can handle you. But they're really funny together.
I can handle
But they're never, what's so nice. They're like never aggressive towards each other.
That's so nice.
There's like a few moments here and there where Darlene's like, will you play with me, please? And Roxy's like, you're so big. I don't want to.
I love their dynamic. It's really, really cute. It's really good. Oh, Max, I love it. I could listen to you talk about dogs all day. Like you're very connected. You're like synced up with the rescue dog.
Well,
sitch.
Look, the world's a real shit show.
The world is a real shit show.
And every day is another example of dogs are better than people.
100%. And also, I feel like they are like one of the things I've learned just in not having a dog around, because at one point I had 6. And then over the years, as they've passed or relationships have ended or whatever, it's like it just became me and Peanut for a while. Like my heart is not
Yeah,
as
you gotta get it,
open
yeah.
or soft or it's beyond time, but like these things I'm like, man, I'm better when there's a dog around. Like I'm just better at everything. Yeah. They're so healing. So Max, a couple of questions.
I'm
Now that
ready.
we've done. So one of them was going to be, what is your dog voice? How do you greet your animals?
Oh my God, it's really embarrassing. Both Tess and I do the same thing. We're like, hi. It's like, I feel like this. I'm trying to think like it's depending on
Darlene's walking in.
it's depending on who I see first. I'm like
Okay,
this.
Darlene.
And I'm like, I'm trying to like put myself in that position. Because it's so reactionary that it's like hard to do in real
I
life.
almost want Darlene to walk in just so you can like.
Hi, Leanie. Because I'll say
Oh,
Leanie. Because
Leanie.
Darlene, Leanie.
Here she comes.
She went into the other room. Per se.
Hello.
Come here, Leanie.
Oh, what's the matter?
You stretching out?
She got a little stretch.
Hi, Mama. See, that's the dog voice.
And that's also her like little.
Come here, Mama.
Oh, she got a good grunt. I love it. Oh, that's her voice. I think that's her voice. That was my other question. Was what do you think your doggy's voices would sound like? Wait, I need to hear Roxy's greeting as well.
I go, come here, Roxy.
Hello, babe.
I go, come here, Roxy.
Oh, okay. That's
It's
cute.
not. Yeah, it's not.
Cute.
Because
not
it's
as
after. Because I
aggressive.
have to address her first. Because if I don't do her first, then she's like this. What are you doing?
So we know her voice. It's
That's her
basically-
tail hitting the. Her tail hits Roxy sometimes, and you feel like she's gonna fly halfway
Oh my
across.
God. I love it. Okay, and if your doggy, so we got if your doggies could talk, which we kind of did this, we kind of know what Darlene's would be. What do you think Roxy's voice would sound like?
Roxy's like a. I know. Oh, I know.
Oh, Darlene,
I don't
is
know.
this been enough?
I don't know Roxy. I don't know Roxy well enough to know. I don't think I have a good gauge on it.
Okay.
yet.
What about their occupations in the world? If
I
they
think
were
she
in
would
them?
be like. I think her voice would be more low key.
Oh yeah, chill,
Yeah.
dry.
Yeah, she's a little chiller.
Yeah.
She's like,
Oh,
which you wouldn't think.
I'm sad she didn't come today. I didn't know.
She
no,
would.
I don't know.
She'd be a runner. First of all, she'd pee in here,
That's okay.
and second, 100%.
I love it.
She'd eventually chill out, but it would be a while. We'd have to start the podcast an hour or so in.
Got it. Okay, wait. What would their occupations be in the world if they had them? Do you think?
Oh well, they would. But we've talked about this. They would. Darlene and Roxy would run like. You know, it'd be like a. I'm trying to. One of those bars in the South that has like license plates, like nailed up on the walls.
Wait, why? Why that's? Because I know exactly. That's a very specific bar, and we all know it.
Yeah, they would be the bartenders there. They wouldn't own it.
Okay,
They would be the bartenders
okay,
there.
got it. They're like high five.
And you would always and it would be like a good vibe, but they would not take shit.
Darlene, would you not take shit at the bar with all the license plates on the back wall? Everyone would be like, "Oh, look, there's Pennsylvania."
Yeah, Roxy would
That's
be
where
like
I'm from.
Roxy would be like moving drinks. Darlene
Yeah.
would move it at her own pace, and if someone got loud, Darlene would just like look at them and be like this, "Come on," and they would move on.
Are you like do you do it at birthday parties?
For the dogs,
Yeah, you're not
every day's their birthday.
That's my thinking. Look, I'll do the party, but I'm always like,
First of all, I have no idea when they were born.
oh, and there's that.
These dogs are ageless.
Hello?
I have no idea.
Hello. Thank you so much for being here, Darlene.
But-
we talked all about you.
It's problematic how much money I spend on them.
Yeah. Like, you want to give a ballpark? Or like,
We'll go
no?
tail waggers after this and
Yes.
go get some stuff.
And it'll be like $600 later.
Well, when Joey started playing with toys, anytime we went to the store to like just get food, Ozzy and I would be like, "Should we get Darlene a toy? Oh, should we get Joey a toy?"
Of course.
And we'd be like, "Yeah, of
Yeah,
course."
yeah.
By the time, because he would do this thing, Joey would rip toys apart. Like if you got him a toy, his favorite thing to do was to destroy it.
Yeah.
He got such pleasure out of just ripping a toy to shreds. And once it was totally like all the stuffing was out,
Yeah.
and it was totally ripped down, he was just like, "Oh, the world's at peace."
Oh.
And
So he didn't want to take the little pieces and do anything. He just needed to rip it to
he needed
shreds.
to kill it.
And then he felt safe again.
And we bought him so many toys.
Of course you did. They get all the toys.
But that, I mean, it's every day is their birthday.
I'm really sorry about Joey. I have this like dogs and cancer. It's just, I mean, cancer's awful anyway, but I just like that. It's they live such short lives anyway.
Well, the Pitts, like the Pitts have Pitts, and she's got some American, but I think she might be full American bully. I'm not. Who knows?
I see. This is very like walrus,
walrus. Yes.
Definite walrus.
But like, you know what? Also, let's not call her a walrus while she's in the room.
Darlene, I'm so sorry. I cannot believe I just said that. I'm so sorry.
Can you imagine?
I had a dog that I called the space walrus.
Can you imagine?
I'm sorry.
Jesus Christ.
I cannot believe I did that. I think she can still hear me whispering. Darlene, I cannot believe I said those words. I am so sorry. I meant it in the most. I think walruses are so beautiful. She didn't like it at all.
Look at her body language right now.
She just
She did
turned
not
away
like
from
it.
me. She hates me. How could I say such a thing? She came to just keep us company during a podcast where we talked all about her. She doesn't really want to be here. She did for us. And then I did that.
It's all right.
It's terrible. Max, is there anything else on pets you want to add before we go? Because I could listen to you talk about I'm sorry about Joey. I definitely want to say that. And I also want to say thank you for the wisdom you have around.
You just got to get a dog. Just go get one.
I am. And that's what I meant about Tess. Tess sort of being like, we got to get another dog before they come here. Like before the kids come back from camp. It was sort of like, I think I've overthought it to the point of like, oh, what does it mean? And am I ready? And is it that like it's crazy. Since I'm 22 years old, I've had at least one dog in my house until 2 years ago when Peanut passed. So it's like literally, I don't know life without. I don't know what I'm doing.
had never heard. I mean, I had never heard of this. The idea of fostering a dog.
Yeah.
It was a totally new concept to me, and since COVID, it's now like just such a regular thing.
Yeah,
but
it is more than it was.
Yeah, I'm
gonna do that.
I would fully just. First of all, it's an easy way to like mentally just trick yourself and say this is not. I'm not making a permanent decision right now.
That's what I said about Peanut.
Well, totally. I mean, most people end up in that position, but you could also end up in a position where you're like this. I don't think this is.
I'm the best mama for this.
I don't think this is like the right fit.
Right.
And then somebody else will foster them.
Just like, absolutely. That's like.
Until you find the right one where you're like this. I mean, you don't want to be like, well, I've traded in 30 dogs this month.
No,
but
like a month from now, I'm going to have 30 dogs.
Totally.
Yes. Oh, I love tail waggers. I can't wait to make like regular visits to tail waggers again. Darlene, are you done? Have you had enough of me? Oh no. Yeah, she's had enough of me, I think.
We're gonna go get treats.
You're gonna go get some treats. Does she know the word?
Yeah, she likes. Well, I like to get. She likes bones. I like the bone. We gotta pick up some new bones.
She needs bones. Is there anything else you want to add about anything?
No, I just think if you're listening to this, I recommend adopting.
Of course.
I also recommend exploring older dogs.
Yes, we love
those
seniors.
dogs. You'll be amazed at some like these are the best dogs. And you go, why is this dog still here? Why has this dog not been adopted? And they're like, well, she's 4. I go, who gives a shit?
Craziest thing to me. Yes.
What do you mean?
Yeah.
Just because she's 4?
Yeah.
And that really is the only reason.
Yeah.
So I would say
And they're so
explore.
grateful.
Yes.
Yeah.
Explore older dogs. Anyway.
All right. So adopt seniors if you can.
And adopt pits.
And pits if you can. They are so loyal, and you're so right. I'm so glad you came on here and talked about that too, because I think
you're right. The loyal thing is a real thing.
Yeah.
Because they're the most I shouldn't say the most. I don't know what I'm talking about, but who gives a shit? They're the most teachable dogs.
Yeah.
And you can teach them because of that to do shitty things.
Yeah.
And so that's why they get a bad rap.
Correct.
But
correct.
You can also teach them to be angels.
Max, thank you so much. I'm forever going to have your, this is a good dog.
It's a good dog.
Voice in my head.
my friend kept, he's got 2 great dogs. And when we got Joey, he goes like this, oh my God. I called him and he goes, oh my God. And I go, yeah, man, we got a dog. And he goes, because he had to put his dog down, Cub.
You said,
And he goes, is he a good boy? And I go, I think he is. And then we got Darlene and he goes, huh? Is she a good girl?
Oh my God. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Max, I can't wait to share with you my new pup when he or she arrives.